Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract success, happiness, and money so effortlessly, while others struggle no matter how hard they work? Imagine this. Two people wake up in the morning. One spills coffee on their shirt, mutters, "Ugh, today's going to be terrible." And guess what? The whole day spirals downward. Traffic jams, bad news, more mistakes. The other person also spills coffee, but laughs it off, changes, and says, "Well, at least I have another shirt." And somehow their day unfolds with small wins. Good parking, a kind stranger, a surprise opportunity, same situation. Two very different outcomes. What if I told you that you have the power to choose which of these days you live every single morning? That's the heart of The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. It's a book that has touched millions around the world because it shares one idea: your thoughts create your reality. Today, we're diving deep into the book, chapter by chapter, lesson by lesson, so that by the end of this video, you'll not only understand the secret, you'll feel it working in your own life. Rhonda Byrne begins by sharing a truth that has been passed down through centuries. Philosophers, inventors, leaders, all hinted at it. The truth is the law of attraction. Now let's pause here. What does law mean? A law is something that always works everywhere, like gravity. Drop a stone, it falls. Gravity doesn't fail. And what does attraction mean? It's pulling something toward you. So the law of attraction means whatever you focus on, whether positive or negative, you attract into your life. Think of your mind like a magnet. If you're radiating thoughts of stress, lack, or fear, you're like a magnet pulling in more stress, lack, and fear. But if you're radiating gratitude, joy, and abundance, you attract more of those things. Here's an example from the book. Byrne shares the story of a woman who used to constantly think about debt. She'd check her bills, feel worried, talk about how she didn't have enough. The more she obsessed, the more her debt grew. But once she shifted her focus, imagining checks arriving in the mail instead of bills, her finances started to change. Eventually, she received unexpected income and opportunities. This isn't magic, it's focus. Whatever dominates your thoughts expands. So how does this law actually work? The book breaks it into a three-step process. Ask, believe, receive. Ask. Be clear about what you want. If you're vague, like saying, "I want to be happier," the universe doesn't have a clear signal. Instead, be specific. Example, "I want to feel energized and calm when I wake up each morning." Believe this is about faith, not hoping, not wishing, but knowing it's already yours. Byrne uses the example of ordering online. When you click buy, you don't worry if the package will come. You trust the system. That's belief. Receive, feel gratitude, and act as if it's already happening. If you want financial abundance, stop saying, "I'm broke." Instead, carry yourself with the joy of someone who knows abundance is on its way. One man featured in the book used this process to heal from a severe accident. Doctors said he might never walk again, but every day he visualized himself walking. He refused to focus on the wheelchair and instead pictured the life he wanted. Eventually, against all odds, he walked out of the hospital. That's the power of aligning your mind with your desires. Now, maybe you're wondering, this all sounds inspiring, but how do I actually use the secret in my everyday life? How do I move from hearing about it to living it? The book explains that one of the most powerful ways is through visualization. Let's pause here. Visualization might sound like a fancy word, but it simply means creating pictures in your mind. Imagine you're watching a movie, except the movie is of your own future, the one you want to create. When you do this vividly, seeing the colors, feeling the emotions, even imagining the sounds, your brain starts to process it as if it were already real. Rhonda Byrne doesn't just claim this out of thin air. She includes stories like that of John Assaraf, a successful entrepreneur featured in The Secret. Here's what happened with him. Years before he achieved financial success, John created something called a vision board. A vision board is simply a board where you pin images, words, or symbols of the life you want. Maybe a dream car, a certain job, or the house you'd love to live in. On his board, John had pinned a photo of a beautiful house. Years passed, and his life changed. One day, he moved into a new home with his family. After unpacking boxes, he opened one he hadn't touched in years. Inside was his old vision board. To his shock, he realized the home they had just moved into was the exact same house he had visualized and pinned years earlier. That's the power of holding an image so strongly in your mind that it becomes a magnet. Now, you might be thinking, wait, how does imagining something lead to it actually happening? Isn't that just wishful thinking? That's where psychology steps in. The book explains something called the reticular activating system, or RAS for short. It's a little bundle of nerves in your brainstem that acts like a filter. The RAS decides what information gets your attention. For example, have you ever bought a new car? Maybe a red Honda, and suddenly everywhere you look, you see red Hondas? It's not that they magically appeared. It's that your brain, through the RAS, is now filtering and highlighting what you're focused on. Visualization works the same way. When you visualize success, whether it's getting a promotion, improving your health, or even finding love, your brain begins to notice opportunities that were always around you but invisible before. It's like putting on a new pair of glasses that lets you finally see the possibilities. One more story from the book. There's a woman who desperately wanted to attract love into her life, but when she looked at her home, her surroundings were all designed for a single person: one chair at the dining table, one toothbrush in the bathroom, one pillow on the bed. Inspired by The Secret, she began to visualize herself in a loving relationship and also changed her environment, adding an extra chair, a second toothbrush, two pillows. Not long after, she met her partner. The lesson? Visualization is not about daydreaming. It's about aligning your mind, your feelings, and even your actions with the reality you want to create. One of the strongest tools in The Secret is gratitude. Gratitude means saying thank you not just for what you already have, but for what you desire, as if it's already yours. Byrne shares a story of a man who transformed his entire life by carrying a small gratitude rock. Every time he touched it in his pocket, he'd stop and think of something he was grateful for. Slowly, this habit shifted his mood, his relationships, and even his finances. Gratitude flips your focus from what's missing to what's abundant. And remember, what you focus on expands. So if you constantly say, "I hate my job," you attract more reasons to hate it. But if you say, "I'm grateful for the paycheck that allows me to eat and live indoors," you start attracting better opportunities. Money is one of the most emotional subjects. The book teaches, don't focus on lack. If you keep saying, "I can't afford this," you're sending out a frequency of lack. Instead, shift to thoughts of abundance. Byrne tells the story of a woman who carried around a $1 bill, but imagined it as $100. She'd mentally spend it again and again, training her mind to think from abundance. Later, real financial opportunities began to flow into her life. This doesn't mean you ignore bills or responsibilities. It means you face them without fear, choosing to believe in growth instead of focusing on debt. Here's something powerful. You attract the relationships you believe you deserve. If you believe deep down that you're unworthy of love, you'll unconsciously attract partners who confirm that belief. But when you shift, when you start loving yourself, respecting yourself, you raise your frequency. Suddenly, you attract people who match that love. The book shares examples of people who wrote letters to their ideal partner, describing them in detail: kind, supportive, loving. By focusing on this, they attracted relationships that match those descriptions. It's not about wishing for a perfect partner. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, the version that naturally attracts healthy, meaningful love. Your body is always listening to your thoughts. Research shows that stress can weaken the immune system, while joy, gratitude, and laughter make it stronger. One story in The Secret tells of a woman who supported her healing journey by watching uplifting and funny movies every single day. Instead of dwelling on fear, she chose to focus on laughter, gratitude, and imagining herself in full health. Over time, her body began to reflect her mindset. This doesn't mean replacing doctors. It means working with them, while also using the power of your thoughts as part of your healing. And remember, the law of attraction doesn't just work for individuals. It can shape the energy of whole communities. Think about this. If entire groups of people constantly focus on fear, war, or lack, the world mirrors that back. But when people shift toward peace, kindness, and abundance, that too ripples outward. Rhonda Byrne reminds us that every great leader in history, from Buddha to Jesus to modern visionaries, spoke about this law in some form. It's not new, it's ancient, but now it's being rediscovered. Here's the deepest part of the book. You are the creator of your life, not your parents, not society, not luck. You. This means responsibility, yes, but also freedom. If your past thoughts created your present, then your present thoughts are creating your future. The power is in your hands, or more accurately, in your mind. So let's return to where we started. Two people wake up in the morning and spill coffee on their shirt. One person curses the day, feels irritated, and carries that frustration into every interaction that follows. The other laughs, shrugs it off, and maybe even says, "Well, at least now I get to wear my favorite shirt instead." Now pause for a second and really think, which one are you most of the time? Because here's the truth. Life doesn't respond to the coffee or the shirt or the accident. Life responds to your energy. Every thought you think, every word you say, every emotion you dwell on, it's like you're sending out invisible signals into the universe, and the universe, without fail, listens. It echoes back to you exactly what you broadcast. If you radiate anger, frustration, or fear, you attract more moments that make you angry, frustrated, or afraid. But if you radiate gratitude, joy, and possibility, you start to notice doors opening where there were only walls before. That's the heart of the secret. It's not about pretending bad things don't exist. It's not about closing your eyes and ignoring reality. It's about choosing where to put your focus, because what you focus on expands. Think about it like this. If you walk into a dark room with a flashlight, the part you shine the beam on becomes visible. The rest fades away. Life is exactly the same. The direction of your attention determines the shape of your reality. So here's my invitation to you, and it's simple. Tonight, before you fall asleep, think of 3 things you're grateful for. Not just in your head, feel it in your heart. Maybe it's the roof over your head, the food you ate today, or the simple fact that you're alive, breathing, and capable of more than you realize. And tomorrow when you wake up, choose one thing you deeply desire. Don't just say it, see it. Close your eyes and imagine it as if it's already yours. If it's a new job, see yourself walking into that office. If it's better health, see yourself running up a hill with strength and energy. If it's love, feel the warmth of that connection as if it's already in your life. Visualization isn't daydreaming. It's training your mind to recognize opportunities that align with your dreams. Remember, small choices create massive ripples. A single grateful thought in the morning can snowball into a positive interaction, which sparks a better decision, which creates a new opportunity you wouldn't have even noticed otherwise. The greatest secret is not hidden in some ancient scroll or locked away in a vault. It's here, within you, every moment, waiting for you to claim it. The law of attraction is not a trick. It's a reflection of who you choose to be in every single second. So ask yourself, starting now, what signal will you send out? Will you curse the coffee spill? Or will you laugh, learn, and let the day unfold with possibility? The answer to that question is shaping your tomorrow. The secret is no longer a secret. It's in your hands, it's in your thoughts, it's in your heart, and most importantly, it's yours. If this video opened your mind, if it gave you even one new perspective, do me a favor. Hit the like button so more people can discover it. Comment below, what's one thing you're going to start visualizing today? And if you want more deep story-driven book summaries like this, subscribe to the channel. Because together, we're not just reading books, we're changing lives, one idea at a time.